Oh my gosh, Cindy, this story is so perfect for today's episode. So, like, literally the other day, I was at a basketball game, well, a little while ago, and I saw a lady with an awesome outfit. And I'm like, I'm going to go ask her where she got that outfit from. I asked her where she got it from. She's like, oh, this beautiful brand, whatever. I'm like, oh, where are you from? She's like, Ocala. I'm like, oh, I love Ocala. My daughter and I go there all the time for horseback riding competitions. I'm like, weck, it's amazing. She's like, oh, I know. My husband runs it. I'm like, wait, what? What do you mean he runs it? She's like, oh, he's the CEO, general manager of the property, blah, 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 blah. I'm like, can I have your number? Because we can never get into these hotels. And she's like, sure, sweetheart. She gives me her number. And I swear, Cindy, she is like my biggest connection right now at this new horse facility. And I am so excited about it. Talk about amazing connections.
It is such a small world, and I can't wait to hear more about this in our episode.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Secrets in Medical Device Sales, brought to you by the Girls of Grit. And we have another fantastic episode coming at you today.
I can't believe our Power Play series is almost over. For those of you, it's been kind of fun. So we are on number 9 already, if you believe that. And today's episode is actually quite simple. And we chose this topic because we really feel that it's important to remind you and understand that there's certain items that kind of fit as the glue to your whole career, to your success. And today's topic is all about networking. So while you think this may be something you know everything about or something you already do, how about you listen in and ask yourself, do I do these things? And if you do, have you done them lately? Should you do them more? Oh, all so questions to ask for the end.
I love you, Cindy. You're so cute. And, you know, as I was sitting here listening to you, I'm thinking about a lot of our listeners. And some of you guys probably do this really well. I can admit that when I first got into medical devices, I did not do it really good. It was actually
why is that? Why do you think you did?
So a number of reasons. I work really hard. And sometimes that means just putting my head down and just going, and not really paying attention to other things that are around me, other people, competitors, and I'm super competitive. So it makes me almost come across really like mean. A lot of people think I'm really mean. I'm not mean,
cold,
I promise.
Maybe cold.
I'm just really competitive. But what I realized, and I think it was probably, I'm trying to remember now, Cindy. I want to say I was probably maybe 10 years into maybe not 10, maybe it was 8. But I was driving down the road one day, leaving a hospital, and I was on the phone with a colleague of mine from the same company, different division. And he was telling me about an opening in his company. And I'm like, oh, that's great. He's like, didn't you know about this? And I'm like, no. And he goes, well, we've been talking about this. He's like, don't you talk to so-and-so and so-and-so? And I'm like, no. And he goes, Lisa, you have to pull your head out of the ground and start paying attention to things. You got to start talking to people. He's like, I know you're a hard worker. I know you're all about the number. I know you're all about making it to the top and just doing the best that you can. He's like, but if you're not connecting with other people in your own company and even in our company, different divisions, he's like, you're doing yourself a disfavor. What's the word? Disfavor? Is that the
Yes. Yeah.
You're not doing the right thing for yourself.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, that's so funny.
Anyhow,
disservice.
Holy crap. Yes. Disservice.
I forgot to.
Come on, Lisa. Blonde moment there. That's a true blonde moment. I can't believe. He goes, I make a point, and this is when it really hit me. He goes, I make a point every day to pick up the phone and talk to one person, either in the company or somewhere in another company, and get the lowdown on what's going on. I'm like, really? You have the time for that? He's like, I drive. So do you. He's like, pick up the phone and talk to him for 10 minutes. And sometimes it may be nothing, but sometimes you can learn a lot about what's going on in not just your world, but in the other worlds of these medical device sales reps. And you can find out information on docs. You can find out information on company openings, new companies coming out, new technologies. I mean, he's like, it's endless. He goes, you have to pull your head out of the ground and start really connecting and networking with other people. So I am so glad you said that, because it just like jogged my memory. And I'm like, God, I remember this. I remember those days.
And I'm so glad you shared that, because how many people listening to this right now are competitive just like you? And here's the thing. You can be competitive, and you can, to one extent, I think there's two sides to what you said about putting your head down. I think it's important to selectively block the noise that's negative. But if you don't ever get out there to hear anything, you're never going to know anything. And you're right, it is a disservice because if you just keep going down your path, what if things are starting to change? And what if you're missing these little cues that you need to actually, okay, maybe I'm just so competitive, I'm going to do what's worked for me. But we know quarter after quarter, goals change, things change, competitors come out with new products. Maybe your approach needs to change. So you're right, it keeps you on the up and up. But I think, again, it's also good to point out to be selective. That I love that you said one person for 10 minutes, because what you can start to do is reach out to different people and you'll know who you can connect with, who tells you the right things. Say, be a little careful of not just calling everybody it's not about gossip. It's truly about networking and building important
Yes.
information and where you can find openings and where you can find opportunities. And even in the job you're in now, how to make it better. So I'm glad you said that.
100%. Yeah, no, and you're right. It's not the gossip. It's just being open-minded and making new connections and gathering information. I mean, you never know when you're going to be able to collect it. So I'm really glad that we're talking about this today because it's actually reminding me of a couple of people that I need to reach out to, in terms of a couple of physicians that I'm trying to get in front of, and they have great relationships with them and I don't have a relationship with them. So we're going to talk about that.
And Lisa, I almost kind of think that I'm glad that story popped in your mind because it aligns exactly with our secret this time because, again, networking we all think is quite simple. But I'm hoping by the end of this, you're going to think of it in a different way. So I am just going to jump right in and reveal our secret because you really defined where this fits in. So the secret that Lisa and I chose to believe what is behind good networking is receptive and being receptive. So think about what you just said. You were closed off. You were competitive, put your head down. Well, not being receptive, now you've missed out on opportunities because if you are receptive, what does that do? It allows you to be open to new ideas, like he mentioned, experiences, perspectives, or maybe a job opportunity. But it also kind of helps with collaboration and understanding in your environment. And when you form those connections, that's when all the doors open. So I think it's important that you really remind yourself today to just be receptive and selective, but receptive.
Yeah, I love that. And so that brings to mind another story I was just thinking about. Funny. This was 15, 18, I don't know. It was a long time ago, maybe not quite that long ago, but again, head down, just doing my job, whatever. There was this rep that would always find me in the hospital. I mean, it was like he searched me out and he's like, hey, hey, hey. And he worked for like a really small medical device company. You know what? Just started, just got into medical devices. And again, me being super competitive and, oh, I'm so cool. I knew him, but I was like, oh, he's kind of like a gnat. Go away. But he was like always trying to talk to me in the OR. And I'm like, dude, I'm busy.
Everybody has that guy. Like, seriously, you're laughing right now if you're listening because I'm like, oh my God, I see him coming down the hallway right now.
I would
That's
go
hilarious.
home and complain about him because I was like, dude, I just saw so-and-so again. And my husband at the time knew him. And he's like, oh, that guy. I'm like, I know the guy. Like, leave me alone. I just want to do my job. I'm talking to my doctors. But anyhow, so he found me in the OR one day. I was literally leaving the OR going to supply chain. And he stops me. He's like, Lisa. I'm like, oh, what? And he goes, listen, I am looking to make a jump in my company. If you ever leave your job, your current position, and go to another device company, would you recommend me to your company to be interviewed as a good sales rep? And I was like, yeah, sure, whatever. Like, I literally was like, yeah, sure. Then I swear to goodness, every friggin' 3 months, it was like, hey, let me know. Hey, let me know. Hey, well, the day finally came. And I decided to move to a different company. And I texted him and I said, hey, I am leaving the company. Would you like to have an interview with my manager? I will recommend you. And he was like, absolutely. And he did the interviews and he got the job. And not only did I recommend him to my manager, I recommended him to my doctors because the truth is he was a hard worker. He was a little annoying, but he was a really hard worker. And he deserved to get that job. And when I recommended him to my docs who trusted me, Cindy, that guy legit became sales rep of the year over year. The first year he started and then won it 2 more years after. Sales rep of the year. Now, I'm not saying it's because of me, but what I am saying is that guy was really good at networking. He was really good at staying persistent on the same line, with me, just being there, annoying me to a little bit, but like reminding me of who he was and working hard and never letting up. And he's still kicking butt. So it's a perfect example of being a good of course, hard worker, but being really good at networking and
Well,
not giving up and being persistent.
well, there's something else in there that when you talk about that persistency and consistency, he was authentically him. Okay, so yeah, maybe he was annoying, but like that's who he was all the time. But annoying in a sense that he was clearly driven. And hey, this is what I want. This is where I am. And when something else you said, I think is really important. So you recommended him to your company. Well, you know what? You saw that he worked. You saw that he went out every day. He was doing his job. He wasn't sitting at home, sitting back, letting somebody else do it for him. And I think that our actions are just as important in networking than what we say. So if you want to be out there and you're going to network that you're out there, you better be out there. It's very simple. Be receptive to everything that's coming. I mean, you can't tell me this. If you go into the hospital one day versus sitting at home, you know you ran into somebody, you learned something. Maybe one of the staff is going to have a baby or somebody just got engaged. And it's really exciting when you get to go back and follow up. I mean, it's the tiny little simple things that all make a difference. So I just think that's really exciting. So I love your stories too, by the way.
Oh,
And
I always have
in fact, as we look this up, 85, and I'm going to say this again, 85% of jobs are filled through networking. 85%.
Wow.
And think about
that.
that. Like,
sense, though, that makes total sense. I mean, how many times, Cindy, have you reached out to somebody that you know, if you were interested in a job, to say, hey, or use them as a reference when interviewing? I mean, the options are endless. You know, I think today we're going to talk about 3 really important ways to network. And to some of you, again, you're probably really good at this. This may just be a good reminder for you, but I think you're still going to pick up a couple things of going, you know what? I need to call so-and-so. I need to pick up my laptop and email so-and-so or touch base with so-and-so. You cannot network enough. I can't underline that enough. I mean, even in today's world with all these kids going to college, that one of the most important things is finding a college where not only are they interested in the subjects, but where are they going to be able to network? Who are the kids that are attending these colleges? Are they coming from very substantial families, wealthy families, well-known families? You know, it's so important for networking. And I feel like today's generation is so much better at that than we were, you know? So
I was talking to my sister yesterday, and he's going to do an internship this summer. He's going into a senior year of college, and it's actually with a medical device company because he is at this school. This person did an internship before, and he wants to have each year do an intern with somebody in that school. Now, he ultimately wants to go to med school. So think about it. He's networking to be in an OR with an orthopedic company all summer.
wow.
And so, I mean, I
awesome.
think it's great. And it's all because of his alumni. He's like, well, you went to this school. We want to have somebody from this school. And he's like, well, I need to be in the OR because he wants to be a surgeon. He doesn't know what type, but he wants to be a surgeon. So like, you never know. But starting with college is really, oh my gosh. And, you know, I could talk about my college all day. I love it. But when you love where you go to and you network with people like that, that personal networking flows into professional networking. It's all synonymous.
Well, it's funny. I was talking to somebody the other day. Here's a perfect example. Okay, so you guys, sorry, we're like super talking the stories today. So number one, we're talking about personal networking, right? What are your personal connections? Who do you know in your personal life? Who do you know at your bank, right? Your financial advisor. Well, he probably knows, or she probably knows a ton of people. Let's say you want to buy a home. Well, they can probably connect you with a real estate agent, or the real estate agent can connect you with a plumber, or like there's all sorts of things that you can use your networking, your personal networking abilities to get things done. So here's a really great example of that. So the other day I was talking to a guy who's trying to break into medical devices. Now I know we're talking about breaking in, but either way, getting a job in medical devices. Okay. And he doesn't have any prior sales experience. It's just so crazy. His wife ends up working out with the CEO of a tech company. Okay. She works out with the wife of the dude. They have like 5 kids. They live in a mansion. They have like their own freaking gym in their backyard. And so the wife goes over there every day to work out with this woman. Well, one day she's like, hey, what do you do? Okay, so asking questions, guys. It's so important. If you actually want to connect, you have to talk. You have to like ask questions of people. It's amazing the things you can learn when you actually talk to people. So she's like, what does your husband do? You're at home all day. You know, you guys have 5 kids, beautiful mansion. What does he do? Oh, he's a CEO of a tech company. She's like, my husband wants to break into the medical device, but he doesn't have any sales. Would he potentially like want to interview him? She's like, heck yeah. So she sets up a coffee meeting with this little girl's husband, okay, they're much younger, and he goes to meet him. Guy offers him a job on the spot.
What?
No joke.
Are you
Offers him
serious?
swear. Offers him a job on the spot, all because of one personal connection. So it's like, I bet all of you out there right now driving or listening to this on your phone as you're cooking dinner or whatever you're doing, you can think of one person that you might want to get to know a little bit better and be able to use that connection to network into something greater. I mean, the opportunities are endless. Foundations that you can become a part of, dinner parties that you can go to, even your church. I mean, there are endless ways to network, and it doesn't have to always be for your professional use. It can be for your personal use too. I mean, you might find out about a brand new, I don't know, restaurant because somebody that you know knows somebody that owns the restaurant, and you could go in there for a fun, like, pre-opening night and just have a blast and meet really cool people. Like, it is so endless with networking, and I can't emphasize or underscore enough. All you have to do is talk to them. You just have to be open and talk and not put your head in the ground like I was doing. Just be open, be authentic, be you.
That is so fun and so true. And, I remember there's 10 million stories we could tell. But I mean, and one more quick thing, and we'll move on with personal networking. So when my daughter was touring college, we got on this one elevator and I said hello to this couple and their son, and I have a daughter. Anyway, we ended up walking over with them. The parents are super nice. They lived in Texas. We live in Virginia. And both kids ended up going to Auburn. And so we went to like parents' weekend and we met up with the parents. They were so fun. And then my daughter and the son, they were in totally different worlds. They knew each other, but kind of weren't really, like, I think the first semester they kind of were in a group of friends, but then they all became their own people. But we kept in touch with the parents. Well, lo and behold, they moved to Huntsville. My daughter moves to Huntsville, right?
Oh my gosh.
And she becomes a real estate agent. My daughter runs into her, and my daughter is looking to have real estate agent this summer. And I know it's somebody who will take care of her, because young people out buying houses, like, you could be taken advantage of. And I know I'm putting her in good hands with somebody that can, and it's all because I just said hello on an elevator. I mean,
so amazing. It's amazing what opportunities open up when you just are receptive, when you just are like, you know what? I'm just going to talk. I'm going to meet this person. I'm not going to be stuck in my own little world. I'm going to be open and I'm going to talk to everybody. And I think that's so important.
I think it's important to say this one other thing too, is you never know who you're talking to. You just have to always think, like, maybe this person would come around in my life again, and maybe this would be great again. Or sometimes you want to say something, but you might want to bite your tongue because you don't know where that person's going to come around professionally, personally. You never know. Absolutely. It's just crazy things. What's that old 6 degrees? What's the Kevin Bacon thing? 6 degrees removed of Kevin. I forget. Like, everything's related to Kevin Bacon.
Don't ask me those kinds of things.
I don't
I'm
know.
Terrible at that kind of stuff. All right.
So professional number one.
Networking.
Yep. I mean, two.
Right. We kind of talked about this a little bit. So professional networking, my story is a good example. You need to be open to talking to everybody, not just in your company or your industry, but in all different types of companies and industries. I mean, in today's world, things are moving so quickly. I think it's really important that you're open to talking to other people. And again, you never know where that's going to take you. I think one of the biggest things that if you're not doing this right now, listen up, you should be doing it. Get on your LinkedIn and start connecting. It means finding people that you want to connect with, that have the same interests as you, both professionally and personally. It means commenting on other people's comments. If you want to connect with people, you should be on LinkedIn and you should be networking. It is amazing the people that you can meet, the companies you can get connected to, and the opportunities that are out there for you. Even if you're not looking today, I'm telling you right now, something will happen on LinkedIn and you will find yourself going, wow, I'm so glad I connected with this person or this company, because what a great connection. So I think it's so important.
How many of you have thought you want to connect with somebody who wants what you want and who's out there? And it's almost like you could find mentors. It's amazing when you say, wow, this person's where I want to be. I want to connect with somebody like this. I want to see how they do it. And you can really form great relationships. Professional networking is so, so key. I think something especially specific to medical device is when you think of gatekeepers. Okay, so say you just took over a new hospital. Well, if you network well amongst your colleagues and peers, not only within your company, but other companies, maybe you need to call that person who works for such and such company that has called on this hospital for years. And by simply reaching out and asking, what is the protocol? Who do you need to talk to? What do you need to do to get past the gatekeeper? You might have just saved yourselves months of pain, and time is money, right? So the quicker you can get in, quicker you can do what you can do, the quicker you can sell and the quicker your professional advancement can go. And I just think that gatekeepers is so important because it's not even just hospitals, but in so many different ways. And it's just so important. And networking is what will get you past the gatekeeper.
Oh my God, absolutely 100%. I mean, I can't tell you how many times I've asked my colleagues, and honestly, I've even done it with a competitor. Do you have so-and-so's information? Can you just send me their information? The name. I just need a name. Give me the name. I can look up the rest on my own or get an introduction. Like you said, it's so important professionally to have as much, I don't want to use the word leverage, but it's like it gives you a step up. You know, it buys you credibility. It absolutely will buy you credibility with your customers and with those that you're trying to get in front of, especially if somebody that you know knows them very well. Like I was mentioning before, there's a person I need to call because there's a doctor I really need to get in front of, and they know them very well and I don't know them at all. And they're not a competitor per se, but they do work for a different company. And I ran into him the other day in the hallway and I'm like, you know what? I need to talk to you about something. And then I was running off and doing something else. I'm like, I'm going to reach out. So it is so important to be professionally connected. Just be, again, it's open. Be kind, be nice. You don't have to be super mean and competitive like I was years ago, scowl on my face like, I'm going to beat all of you. You don't have to be that way,
We've said all along, we tell you what not to do. I mean, we've made these mistakes. We've done this. We're here to shorten your learning curve.
Absolutely.
Learn by us.
Learn by us. Don't do the same things we did. Oh, did we talk about conferences?
That's what I was just going to say.
Yeah, that's another great way to meet people, network. I mean, holy crap, where else are you going to be when you can get all these different companies in one room? And just walk around and be like a doctor or a nurse and pretend. You don't even have to pretend. Just walk around and ask questions. What do you do? What do you sell? What's your name? My name's Lisa. I work for this company. It's not hard. It's a little unnerving. Some people don't do really well. But then again, you're in sales. Aren't you supposed to be okay at that?
And, and I think too, depending on which company you work for, because all companies have different protocols as to how people go to certain events. So big conferences, maybe there's one big national conference a year or international conference a year and smaller ones. So I think something that's really important in professional networking is take a look at your specialty that you're in, know which conferences are really important, and now look at your customers, which ones are attending, because speak with your upper management and kind of say, hey, look, 9 months from now, this particular conference is happening. I want to be there. I know X doctors are going to be there. And then at that same point, make the most of that. When you plan ahead to network, it is huge. You're like, I want to go find out what the competitors are doing. I want to hear the talks. That puts you in such a great place, but that's planning networking. And I think sometimes we don't think of it like that. We don't think of targeting networking. Like I said at the beginning of this call, we think we network, but hey, did you ever think that maybe I could just say specifically, this is a networking event that I'm going to put on my calendars to specifically network in all angles, my customers, my space, what's new, the research, everything.
So what you're talking about is being prepared. And I love that. I think you actually do a little bit of digging prior to that meeting and know who you want to go talk to. It's just like when we talk about setting your goals and making that list. Make a list of the companies you want to talk to, learn about the products. Maybe they are competitive. Well, go learn them anyhow. Hide your bag, turn your badge around.
Oh, nobody's ever done that before.
Or take it off. The problem is once you're well known
in
the medical device industry, everybody knows who you work for. That is a problem.
So it doesn't matter.
No, it doesn't really matter. I mean, go and learn about it. I mean, gosh, again, things are changing so dramatically.
Yeah. So number 1 was personal networking. Number 2, professional. And the third one is social networking. I guess you can see that there's links and all of these kind of overlap in a way. So social networking is not just kind of what we said with personal. It's not just online. It is online. But what I want you guys to think about for this is really community. Okay, so let's take, for instance, if you're involved, I know somebody that I work with is really involved in this charity. And the people that he's been able to meet through this charity is amazing. And when you have people who give back in a community, like a volunteer type situation, you make connections that really open your eyes to so many different things. And I'm also going to say, when I think of community, also think about, again, this is a profession we do, but aren't we better at our profession when we do things we enjoy? Say you're a golfer, okay, and you want to get in this golf club, and then, on the weekends, you get to meet people playing golf. Say you're a swimmer and you just want to swim and it makes you feel better. And then you get to see people. If you're in a running club, I mean, anything, then it might be 30 minutes on a weekend, an hour on the weekend, but that's social networking. You get to meet people from all over who do different things and can connect you doing your social fun with like-minded people that really may open doors for a professional opportunity.
That's a great point, but I didn't really think about it that way. That was a fantastic example of that because, I need to be more open with that kind of stuff, actually, now that you're talking about it. I love this episode because it's reminding me of the things that I, can do well, and then the things that I probably could still do better. I can't underscore networking enough. I think it's so important. It is about who you know and what they know and their connections. I mean, golly, sometimes it's right underneath your nose, So I hope today really helped you guys. And again, if you guys are amazing at networking, kudos to you. But I still think that there's always a way to better yourself. And if you're not
100%.
doing it in one area, maybe you're awesome at it professionally. Maybe you're awesome at it personally, but you kind of suck online. Well, go make your online presence better. Go to LinkedIn, go to, like you said, Facebook, other things, and get more connected. Make sure that you're reaching out to people of like-mindedness that like the same things you do and the companies that you're interested in. This is another way. Honestly, I'll use it as an investment opportunity. I'll look on LinkedIn for new companies that are up and coming. Hey,
there you go.
Is there a venture capitalist company that
Manage your money.
has a device in there that I really think it might be worth something? I mean, it's amazing what you can learn online.
I agree. And I think what I want to do is summarize this just to give you guys some action steps. Again, this is so broad, but if you're sitting here, like I mentioned at the very beginning of this episode, am I really doing things? So quick things to think about. Number one, update your LinkedIn profile and make it a professional photo. I would just want to put that in there. That's really important. Number two, connect with new contacts and old contacts. Maybe join a networking group or an online type community. Look into sports. Now, look ahead for networking events. Plan for a networking event or a professional organization. Maybe join an organization. Maybe you have an organization that you've thought about joining, you just never have. And you know what? Being prepared and set networking goals is important. And practice an elevator pitch. How many times do you run into somebody if you're networking because you're in a spot where, hey, I want to get into medical device or I want to up my career. If you have an elevator pitch where you already know what you're going to say, work on it. And by the way, hint, hint, we have something coming. Actually, we will launch soon about an elevator pitch because my gosh, it's something you can take with you all the time. And those of you that have listened in the past, you may know we did an episode. It was actually a year ago. It was aired on the 14th of May. And it was with Emma Grace about breaking into medical device. So if you're new to medical device or you want to get into medical device, she gave some great tips on getting in. So go back to that episode. I think it was May 14th of last year. And I think there's so many great things that we could talk about forever, but building and strengthening professional and personal just can make so many great things. So I think we should end today with our call to action for Power Play numero 9. So I want you to challenge you about building your networking. So here's your call to action. Reach out to 5 people this week. I said 5 with a value-driven message and watch what happens.